I have with me here today a Ford Mustang Mach-E, Ford's earnest attempt at a competitive and great EV. So is it any good, or is it just a Ford? Let's take a look. Let's talk about the obvious first. This isn't a Mustang. It's a completely new design from Ford's traditional muscle car. Really, this is an SUV. It has all-wheel drive, it's higher up off the ground, and has a nice SUV hatch. It's completely different than a muscle car. With all the SUV-ness going on, I think they should just ditch the double name altogether. After all, it says Mach-E on the side. If it were me advertising it, I would just ditch the Mustang image altogether and just stick with the single name. So how about storage? The front's pretty spacious. I mean, there's not a whole lot of space up here, but you could easily put some ski boots or helmets or some groceries or bags up here if you really wanted to. The problem is it's almost impossible to open. You've got to like go down below the dash and pull a lever twice or navigate through the menus to get to the button to release it. It's just not convenient to use, so I don't find myself using it very often. But other than that, I mean, it's a nice space in here. While I'm up here, I figured let's talk about the frunk build quality. It's not great. Let's talk about the build quality of the inside now. It's kind of surprisingly good. There's a lot of nice soft, squishy materials that feel nice to touch in here, and there's a surprising amount of storage space given that there's no transmission tunnel. They really did a good job of putting a ton of storage in here, and it's all practical. Now, the materials they used, they feel soft, but they feel durable, and they're comfortable to sit on. And they used some unique mesh and carbon fiber-esque material in here. It's really a good interior. I'm impressed. Let's talk about the infotainment system. I have it on Android Auto right now because it's the only thing that I like using about the infotainment system. It's because Ford didn't design it. If you want to do something basic, you have to hunt through the menu systems. Let's open the front. You'll go home, and then I don't know where you go. Like, I guess you have to go to settings, and then if you're lucky, it'll already be on controls, where you can press this button, where nothing will happen, and then you have to press it again, and then it works. It's chaotically unpredictable, and it's not really that great. It's slow, and I don't know, I have mixed feelings about this. This is probably the weakest part of the car. If you want your tech to work really great, you should go buy a Tesla. But if you're okay with learning the menu system, it's actually a pretty good infotainment system. There's a lot of space back here. I mean, I'm 6'2", I fit perfectly fine. If you go to IKEA every once in a while, it's that easy to double the amount of storage space back here. They did a really great job with configuring everything. They got little grocery hooks here, there's stuff here, there's a subfloor for even more storage. Perfect road trip car. You can do a lot with the storage space back here. I'm impressed. They did a good job. So let's talk about one of the most important parts of this car. It's electric. It has a max charging speed of 170 kilowatts, which honestly is a little disappointing. Come on, Ford. The Ioniq 5 charges in half the time, 10 to 80, as this car. What are you guys doing? So honestly, that's one of the biggest drawbacks of this car is the charging speed. It could be better, but it's still pretty good. They advertise a just over 30-minute 10 to 80% time. So at one of these stations, which is 200 kilowatts, we'll be done here in like 5 minutes and then back on the road. As you may or may not know, this car uses CCS, Combined Charging Standard. But that's not the new US standard. The new US standard is the Tesla standard. So hopefully future models of this car will have the Tesla one. That'll give you access to a better charging network and more reliability. But for now, this works fine. It's just something to know about the 2023 models. A lot of this car boils down to how well does it drive? And I think it drives really well. Ford's been doing this a lot longer than some of the new car brands like Tesla, and I think it shows, because this feels more like a car than an electric car, albeit a really fast one. Acceleration is instant. The moment you press the gas, it's going. The Mini, it takes a second for the turbo to spool up. It's fast, it feels fast, but it takes a second to get there. Now, 0 to 60 in this car, it's advertised as about 4.8 seconds. That's not true, I measured it. It's more like 5.8 seconds, but it's still pretty good. I think that makes you faster than many of the cars on the road today, and it's pretty competitive. If they make a faster version of this car, it's probably a couple $1,000s more. I don't think you need it, unless you really want to be fast and sacrifice some range. Plenty adequate in this car. We also have the extended range battery. And if I'm honest, it kind of needs the extended range battery. The battery, I'd say, is the weakest part of this car. You get about 270-ish miles from the battery. It's pretty good, but it only charges at 170 kilowatts, so it takes about 30 minutes to go from 10 to 80%. Kind of inconvenient when you're going on a road trip. Usable, but inconvenient. The driving modes, they're pretty awesome. Unbrittle makes the car feel a lot more responsive, and a lot more braking power in the Regen. Engage, it's fine. It's about the same as Whisper, to be honest. I think these two are about the same. They do have this nice feature called propulsion sound. I think it's a little bit annoying, but it does add some engine sound. You can't hear it for sure, but it does add like a little bit of fake engine sound. It's pretty clever. And the one pedal drive here, that's what I always drive it in. It allows you to brake, accelerate with one foot. It's pretty cool. The most unique feature about this infotainment system is definitely this knob right here that controls whatever you're interacting with. So if I want to bring up the temperature, I just go boop, boop, boop. It's pretty neat. All the buttons here, exactly where you would expect them to be. Your thumb is always in the right position to push any of these buttons. Active cruise control is great, I love it. And after you press active cruise control, eventually it'll start driving itself, which is pretty cool. Not full self-driving, but it'll keep you in the lane. Now, you can just turn it off with the press of a button. It's really easy. Overall, the inside's great. I love it. It's better than a Tesla, I think, and it's really competitive. The sound system is great. I don't know. The inside really sells the whole car, and the driving experience enhances it. Once you sit inside one, I think most people would be sold. Just because the outside build quality is a little weak doesn't ruin the entire feeling of the car. It's really well put together in here, so I'm pretty happy with the inside, I'd say. So in conclusion, if it was my money, would I buy it? I'm not so sold. I think that the driving experience really sells it. So if you're on the fence, you should go for a test drive and decide. But if you're in it for the technology and for a more interesting car, I think the Tesla might be a better bet. It's fully featured and the technology works a lot better. So in the end, if you want a driving experience, go for the Mach-E. Otherwise, I'd say check out the Tesla too. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It means a lot to me that you guys watched it through. I want to give a shout out to Blaze, Julian, Josh, and Noah, all of which helped me across my 3-day rental. I couldn't have made the video happen without them. I also got most of the equipment from Longmont Public Media. They were hugely helpful, and if you're in Longmont, you should go check them out. I also got the car from Turo, so if you're interested, that was a great experience. I'd highly recommend you check Turo out too. And if you liked the video, the usual, like, subscribe, and share it maybe with somebody that you think will also like it. It would help me out a lot too. And if you want to see something different than a car review, let me know. Because I'm always happy to try new things and show what you guys want to see. So thanks for watching.